Hi. So I'm thinking about this book that my wife and I have been talking about called Invisible Woman. It's using, data and numbers and statistics to talk about, I guess, the gender inequalities is the proper term for it these days, the politically correct term. And we've had some pretty interesting discussions on this book. And I've been thinking a lot about feminism, third wave feminism, as they're calling it now, and trying to understand why people don't listen to them. And it seems kind of obvious to me. I mean, when you compare first wave feminism and second wave feminism, which, I seem to be surrounded by feminists my entire life. My sister, she studied that for her master's thesis in political science. So I know probably too much about the feminist movements, and I'm seeing with the third wave feminism, something has shifted and it's become more radical. And I hesitate saying this because I'm a man and I'm not supposed to say these things unless I'm in complete and utter support. But it's tough to be in support of feminism. And when I look at third wave feminism and I think to myself, you'd probably get more men to listen to you if you didn't talk like a man. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but men don't really even talk to each other. And it's probably because of how we talk. I mean, there's so many times, my wife, she'll find out that I just talked to, my oldest, bestest, longest running friend, and she'll be like, "What did you talk about?" "Nothing." And kind of we talked about substantially nothing for just like, you're on the phone for an hour. How did you talk about nothing? And that's it. Like, we sound like we're talking about things. We get loud, we get pointed, but we don't really say anything that people care to hear. Like, that's probably why men are so obsessed with sales, is we're not very good communicators. So when I hear the third wave feminists talking and ranting and going off about, essentially mansplaining, I say to myself, how is this going to work? Like, has the male oppression pushed these feminists so far that they've become more masculine than feminine? And at that point, I'm like, okay, keep in mind, the civil rights movement gained more traction the more women got on board. The women's rights movements were some of the most successful civil rights campaigns ever. And it's because they weren't trying to be like men. And now with third wave feminism, I mean, there's no clear definition of what third wave it's really, they take anti positions, and I'm like, that doesn't work. Anti ideals are very masculine ideals, and they never work. They never go anywhere. Like, it's men that bark about things like, anti-guns, anti-abortion, weather, whatever. And those things, they don't go anywhere. And that's, I don't know if you've noticed, but men are kind of chaotic. So, bring some order to this. Bring some femininity to this. Come on. I shouldn't need to be saying this. I'm a man. I'm not supposed to know better. This is frustrating to me. these are all the bad habits that I've been trying to get over by learning sales, learning comedy, learning, you know, how to meditate, do yoga, which I don't do enough. But even I can see when you start mansplaining to not just other men, but women, it turns them off. For the same reason, I was single for pretty much my entire 20s because I mansplained too much. And it's just painful because you got some good points. Invisible Woman is a great book, but come on, don't stoop to our level. If we had things figured out, there would be nothing to complain about. Don't you get it? Do not stoop to our level. You can be better. You're women.